I need tape. Please don't fall. Why is there stains? Whatever. Happy Pride Month. Hi, I'm not dead. And welcome to this video that I was supposed to make at the beginning of, like 2021 or the end of 2020. So obviously this video never came, but it was in, see, I have a Google Doc and it's just filled with YouTube video ideas, and this is one of them. And since I'm not very creative sometimes, I decided we'll just film this video, see how it goes. Also, you can't figure it out. This is my mic, it's going to be a frame, but it's just because I don't have a mic set up, and this thing has to be close to me. Anyways, what are we doing? Well, dear viewer, today we are going over every single thing that I made in the great year of 2020. So this is it. And I think there was other things, but I either like chucked them out or something, or I couldn't find them. So this is like, so this may not be the full collection of 2020 Lainey Fever Dream. So this may not be all of the 2020 Lainey collection, but this is what I have, so we're going to use it. Why are they split up? I specifically put this side as like most things that was dedicated to a book series, which we'll get into later. I just have color and okay. Also, if I'm constantly checking back to check on the rack, it is because this thing has, this isn't even a rack. It's a light stand that is 20 years old. I'm pretty sure this is older than me. It is literally falling apart, and this thing fell on me about 3 different times. So if I'm constantly looking back to make sure I'm not about to die by the hands of this thing, it's for that reason. Anyway, let's just get started. This is in no like chronological order. I'm just going to pick one and go with it. The first one being, excuse me, my first Sophie Hatter dress. Honestly, this may be version 2. I can't remember which came first. It could have been that one came first and I made this second because I had the fabric. I don't remember. I don't know what to say about this. It's made out of bed sheets that I got from my grandma. It's just torn in the back. You can see the interfacing peeking out of the collar. Nothing is finished. This isn't hemmed, I don't think. It isn't hemmed, but it did its job, and I've only worn it once, but it did its job. I tried to make a tutorial with this dress, like with making this dress. There's a reason I don't make tutorials, okay? So don't ask me for any. Don't fall, please don't fall, please don't fall. If that rack falls, it's homophobic. It's June, I'm making that joke. Second one on the rack is my second version of Sophie. It's a little thick, and that's because there's a petticoat inside that's from literally, I think, like 2013. It has seen better days, but I found it, and so I'm going to use it because I hate making petticoats. But this one actually has like buttons. It is not hemmed either. And there's a zipper. There's a very poorly sewn in zipper. So we're, I just need to sew this back on. But this is actually the apron that I used for Alice. Could be a lot better, but it like has pockets and I think it's really cute. I don't remember putting on these pockets, but it has pockets. But seriously, when did I put these on? My Jane Prentice dress. I'm all for like, don't compare yourself to others and be proud of your work. But I would chuck this into a fire immediately if I had the chance. This thing is a living disaster, but it kind of matches Jane Prentice, so I guess it kind of fits. One, this thing is hot because this is fleece. It is made out of fleece. These strings look like they're going to fall apart. And I want you to see, hold on. Can you see this? The stitching is so bad. But yeah, that's Jane Prentice. For this next one, I want to preference this. Yes, I used to be a theater kid. I'm not getting into this. Veronica Sawyer from Heathers. This button is just my life currently. I made this, I'm pretty sure right before like coronavirus actually shut down like the school system in America. Jesus. Yeah, I wore this to school once. Fun fact. It was something. Her socks are somewhere. I don't know where they are. This skirt is ugly, but we're not getting into that. Now this is something I enjoy. We have Camp Half-Blood, or the Camp Half-Blood shirt. So, fun fact about these sleeves. It came with sleeves. I cut off the sleeves. For this next one, I find it very funny that I put this next to the pride flag, Katra. I also have her ears. They're right over here. This is one of like my first projects that I was like actually proud of because I was using different fabrics for the first time, such as like leather. I was starting to use foam again. I really got into stretch fabrics this time around. It looks much better on like a human body The back, I'm not proud of this back just because like these are definitely not aligned properly. These go in a little too much and I should have just done like what I was trying to do here with like bias tape, and I should have just done like the whole armhole instead of just doing like partially. Oh, before I forget, this costume was also the first time I think I had ever like fully patterned something out. I had to pattern the legs, I had to pattern the bodice, I had to pattern the back. Like it was a whole process, but it was fun and I wore it for Halloween. And I do still love it even though I would make some changes. But yeah, so that was the rainbow side, or at least the color side. Now, oh, no, I'm not done. My top hat. So I hope that sounded great on the mic. This was for Nicola from Magnus Archives. It very obviously does not fit my head, but it did its purpose when I first cosplayed them. This fabric is hot glued, it can easily come off. This did tell me, like, teach me a lot of things. And that's how, hold on, I like made a tiny pattern for this hat. I made this because it was my first time ever patterning a hat. And so I made like a smaller version to see if it would work, and then I eventually got to that size. But I found it perfectly fits like this duck. So I had an even smaller one at one point that fit this other duck I have, but I'm pretty sure one of my dogs ate it. So now that we've talked about the top hat, this side is kind of complete. Okay, if you haven't already guessed, if you don't know, I have this probably really unhealthy obsession with the book Gideon the Ninth, or the Locked Tomb trilogy. And there's only one thing on this side that isn't related to that book series, so this will be very interesting. To get started, this is my Harrow cape. This was a bed sheet, and obviously nothing is finished, but it does its job. It looks better far away, just don't get close to me because then you will see the true horror that is my costumes. This thing is bigger than me. Whenever I am filming with this, it is literally just dragging behind me. But yeah, I think this was like the first thing I ever made for Harrow, because again, if you didn't already know, I have cosplayed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have cosplayed so far 5 different versions of Harrow, so I have a lot of Harrow things. On to the next thing. This is my nightmare. I call it the Harrow ribcage. This is version 1. I recently made a version 2. It is falling apart. The back isn't even finished. I said I would go back and like finish it. Very obviously that never happened. Since this is just, you know, out, let's go over this thing first before we get to this one. So this is my Gideon sword. This was my first ever full-on prop. I'm still very new to making actual props now, like this, like weapons. Let's start with the sword first. So I didn't obviously know how to sand very well. I was very proud when I first made this, but now looking back at it, like it could use some touch-ups. But yeah, that's the sword. Now we have the sheath. So many people on TikTok, because I posted about this on TikTok, tried to bash me for this. This straps around the back. Now, yes, I understand that with doing that, it is very hard to unsheath. The thing is, the author of Gideon the Ninth and the cover artist decided that they wanted it on the back. So it wasn't like a style choice, it was literally going off of the cover art. How good is this lighting? I wanna know. The lighting may be crappy right now, but yeah, it was my first time making a sheath. I'm still kind of happy with how it looks like on my back. I feel very powerful when it's on. Not just the sheath, like the sword and the sheath. The horns that I have on the rack, I just realized I made in 2021, so I took them off the rack. But that makes this the last thing in this video. I made this literally 2 days before New Year's. I think I made this on my birthday, so that's fun. But this is my first time ever lining something. This seems so weird, but I had so much fun with this. Like, it's lined. I'm very proud of that. It was the first time ever putting like buttons into a garment as well, which was really cool. A couple things that I would change, however, is I would make this longer. I didn't buy enough fabric, so I couldn't make it longer. But also, these armholes needed to be higher. But yeah, this thing does really well at keeping me like warm as well because this is fleece. With that, that's it. Those are all the things I made in 2020. I'm working on a lot right now in 2021, and probably by the end of this year, I will have a lot more things to show than I did this year. Obviously, these garments didn't turn out perfect because I am not perfect. But then again, like 2020 was the year of just gaining that experience that I needed with about anything. With FX makeup, to costuming, to foam working, with making props. I'm not doing the same thing I did last video, dear God. It is the experience that I needed to make the things that I'm making this year, such as Elizabeth Comstock from BioShock Infinite, but also Violet Evergarden, a secret project of which I can't talk about but is coming in October. Just a lot of things. With that aside, I'm going to end this video. I'm just rambling now. Okay, we're gonna end it. Please subscribe, like this video, I guess. Go ahead, feel free to comment. I know I've been doing really bad at answering comments, but I'm going to actually try to answer them. If you have any suggestions for costumes that I should make or videos that you'd like to see, please also put this in the comments. Besides that, I'm gonna end this. Bye, guys!